Okay, we're live. So welcome, David. We have David. I'm already getting choked up talking to you. Yeah, with Belgium Sotheby's International Realty. Welcome.
Thank you, Jean. How are
So
you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I think more importantly, how are you? That's our number one question. How are things in Belgium with COVID?
I am well, and our team is well too. Everybody is healthy, thankfully. Um, I think it was on the March 17th. We went lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
so it's been a while now, already 5 weeks nearly.
Wow.
And we cannot wait to go back on market.
Right. So are you completely locked down?
Yeah, I mean our profession it is. So you cannot do real estate right now. Um, you cannot do viewing. You cannot do any photo. You cannot do anything.
Are you finding though that people are still reaching out, maybe outside of Belgium, asking for information?
A lot, because as Brussels, as the European Commission, the NATO,
Mm-hmm.
we have the highest number of embassies in the world with Washington DC.
Oh,
So therefore, we have a lot of people coming only for a year or two or three, and these people have a contract, and usually they have already the school for the kids in
mm-hmm.
Brussels from September. So they have to get organized. So for now, the first week we could still made some virtual viewings.
Mm-hmm.
So we did 2 huge rental with the Australian embassy, but now it's been done, so we cannot do it anymore. But the rental here it's a lot, so we have a lot of foreigners asking, but it's more of a rental for the sales. I would say we have a lot of demands. 70% of Belgium, some local people, and then the rest, a lot of 20% more or less of French people, and 20% of other
Other areas.
nationalities. Yeah.
So from the lockdown standpoint, do you guys have sufficient provisions? Like, are you able to go to the grocery store and get what you need?
Oh yeah, we have everything.
Everything's, do you have to have a letter to leave?
No, we don't. No, here it's you can walk, you can do your sport. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, yesterday I did 3 hours of bike, of cycling in the forest. So that was great. That is great.
Yes.
People seems to respect the lockdown more than other country,
Right.
but it's not as tough as it is in Italy, for instance.
No.
So
Well,
it's
how many cases do you guys have, or are you as ravaged in Belgium as the rest of Europe seems to be?
I think we have about 30, 35.
Oh, okay. So
I,
that's good. That's good to know. It's not terrible.
it's a small country, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there are islands who have 35 to 100.
We have
You know.
40,000, sorry,
Yes.
and 6,000 of people who died
Oh, wow.
so far.
Wow.
But
That's terrible.
no, it is stable. But I think it's stable for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and you had mentioned before we started chatting, and I think this is important to note to people watching, is that the government has stepped in to help people keep their salaries. You said 70%, I believe.
70%. So
70%.
every employee, even if they don't work, the salaries are covered by the government, up to 70%. But for the independent, like me and like 50% of our team, we have an help of about $2,000 per month, but that's about it.
But monthly.
Yeah, more or less.
Wow. Wow.
And but the rental still has to be paid. So now I mean, 3 weeks ago we've been negotiating with our owners, our tenants, to negotiate our offices. We've been negotiating for the marketing. So we've been reviewing a lot of things regarding cost cut.
Right.
And besides that, until last week, we had a lot of things to do, actually.
Right.
Everybody was working
Mm-hmm.
until the end of the week. And now this week, we feel that we have less things to do. So thankfully, we are going to start again in 15 days, hopefully. But we still managed to do 3 deals.
That's amazing.
From people who were negotiating before the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think we sold about 8 million on 3 deals. So all negotiation. It was also last minute viewings before the lockdown. So that is quite positive, and we didn't have any cancellation of sales.
That's great to hear. That's good. I'm glad that the economy and the real estate market seems to be continuing. So on that note, let's talk about the real estate market. I know nothing at all about Belgium's real estate process. So can you give us a brief overview of what it takes to buy or sell a house over there?
Yeah. So it's a bit complicated. It's like Switzerland sometimes. You have 3 areas. But we have Brussels, and then we have Flanders, the north of the country, and the south of the country, Wallonia. Mm-hmm. So the taxes, when you buy a property, it depends on the area. In Brussels, for instance, you will pay about 15% of taxes. Well, it's 12.5% plus notaries. In Flanders, I think in total it's going to be more or less about 11%. And in Wallonia, I have to check, but it's between. So it takes is a long process, because when you sign an offer, so you find your dreaming place and it's fantastic, everything is perfect. So you sign the offer. Before to get a buying contract, it will take more or less 2 to 3 weeks. And before being an owner, so before owning the property, it will take another 4 months. So between the time you sign the offer and the time you own the place, it takes about 4 months and a half to 5 months. So it's a long process.
It is. So is the government, do they have the first right of refusal in Belgium for historic properties?
When you buy something, do you mean that the right to buy over you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. Like most of the country in Europe, I guess. Mm-hmm. But they do on everything, actually. So if you find a place, really a cheap place, and then the government wants to buy it over you because they have a urbanist plan located in the same area, they can buy you out.
Interesting. Okay, so it's the same process. So when you decide to write an offer on a home, what is the percentage of deposit that you put down?
Usually 10%. That can be negotiated, but 90% of the time is 10%.
Okay, and is everything handled by a notaire or a notary in Belgium as well?
It is. I think it's the same in France and but in Italy they have both, lawyers and notarians, I guess.
Okay.
And voilà, and you have 3 areas, as I was saying. So south of Belgium, where they're speaking French. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of countryside. There is few cities. It's a nice area. It's close to the border of. It's next to the border of Germany, Luxembourg, and France. And then you have Brussels, a really dynamic city because of the European institution.
Right.
And then you have the north of the country, really dynamic too for the industry, because they have one of the biggest harbor in Europe.
Interesting.
And next to the border of Germany and the Netherlands. But it's more local. So I will say Antwerp, it's a local market. Brussels is an international market. And then in the Flanders area, so north of the country, you have a city. We have the coast, and we have a city well known. It's our Saint-Tropez. It's our
Mhm.
Cannes. Named Knokke-le-Zout. And Knokke-le-Zout is a small city, but most of the transaction, million plus, happens there.
Really?
More than in Brussels, which is like 100 times bigger. The price is there per square meter, which you will translate for me after.
Yes.
It's between 10,000 to 15 and sometimes 20,000 per square meter euros.
Wow. Wow. So that's on par with Paris prices, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So, go ahead.
no, that's it.
Well, I was going to say, how's the weather? Is the weather nice year round in that area? I'm assuming it's chilly during certain
It
parts of
is
the
really
year.
chilly.
Yeah.
It is really chilly and it's really modern. So it's nice because you have the sea and then you can breathe and but it's not like Mediterranean weather or country. I mean, landscape it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's really flat. So the north of the country is really flat.
Okay.
But then you have during the summer, it's great. You drink outside, you have parties on the beach, and you meet people you like, and you can walk around. There is a huge natural park next to it, so it's a really interesting place.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, Knokke-le-Zout. You have to remember that. But
Well,
next time you'll come, then we can go there.
absolutely. I'll let you know. I'm hoping it's soon. I'm having that anxiety because I haven't traveled anywhere since January. It's been far too long. So with all of that, so again, to the process, you said it can take several months. I guess you go through everything, you get your keys, you move into your house, and you're a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
And so do you pay taxes yearly?
Yeah, but they're really low. Compared
Okay.
to the US, where I think you have a percentage in the US.
Mhm.
What's the percentage? I think it's 1 to 2%.
Oh no. And so in Texas,
Yeah,
and granted, Texas is higher than most, we're anywhere from 2.1 to 3.1%.
per year.
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. But our
Um,
home prices are a lot less. You can get a house for 400 or 500,000 US. So
Here, I mean, in Brussels, for instance, we start. I mean, we start from 1 million. I mean, in our branch. I mean,
right,
in our field.
right.
Our average sales is about 2.2 million euros. But for 2.2 million euros, you have about 1,000 square meters in one of the best area.
Yeah.
But the taxes are very low. I mean, you pay, I think, yearly, because upfront you pay a lot. You
Mhm.
pay about 15%. So yearly you pay the equivalence of 1 month of rent.
Oh,
I don't know how they calculate that, but they do. So for instance, if you have, you will pay maybe 12 euros per square meter as taxi.
okay.
So if you have 100 square meters, it will be 1,200 euros per year.
That's unbelievable.
But it depends, because if you want every single time you have a permit, they recalculate that. But as
Mm.
long as you keep the same permit, so sometimes you have old properties with no tax on it because it's been
Seriously.
calculated years ago. There is an
Interesting.
inflation rate, of course, but
Mhm.
lot of time is really low.
That's amazing. So where do you think is the best place to buy in Belgium? So if I wanted to buy a place there, where would you suggest as far as investment, cost of living?
So investments is Brussels
Okay.
because of the European market. It's huge. We have a team. It's a small market. Brussels is about 1.2 million, so it's a really small city.
Right.
We have a team of 5 people doing only rental,
Mhm.
and it's really dynamic because there is a lot of people coming for 2 years. They are looking for furnished apartment for 2 years, and they pay up to 3,000 4,000 euros a month.
Wow.
So that works very well. But the return on investment, because of taxes, is low.
Mhm.
But comparing to other cities in Europe, prices in Belgium has been really stable. So there wasn't any drop after the crisis of 2008
Right.
or 2001. It's been only increasing of about 1.5% per year. So it's really stable. So if you are looking for stable market, here is a place.
Okay.
But if you want to buy your main residence, it depends. Because if you have, it's totally different. Antwerp is a totally different city from Brussels. So if he was in Brussels, then I would advise you to come to Uccle.
Okay.
It's south of Brussels. It's a really green area. It's beautiful and green area. You have also so in Brussels you have 19 districts, but each district will have a number. Here they have a name. So you have the area of Châtelain, which is great because you have every Wednesday night you have a market, and then you can go there with your friend, have a drink, have something to eat, and then you can carry on other bars around. So it's really fantastic. Then you have the south, Uccle, which is really green. You have Route Sainte-Genèse, which is if you like riding horses, Route Sainte-Genèse, it's a place for you. It's next to the forest. We have a huge forest in Brussels, and then you can ride horses there. You can ride bicycle. You can do your sport, which is great. And Antwerp is a bit the same. Antwerp, it's less international, still international because of the harbor. But then the really nice neighborhood, it depends on your lifestyle. If you are really modern and if you love having a view on the sea, well, not on the sea but on the water from penthouse, then it will be Antwerp Center. But if you kind of person who prefer to be in a greener area, having your villa, then it will be more in the north. And then you will find the city of Brascat, Schilde, and Schoten, and these areas are likely like than Route Saint-Genèse and Uccle. They are really green, and then you can, yeah.
What about, is it Gant that everybody talks about? I hear so often.
But it's like Brussels, you know. Brussels, the center of Brussels. You don't, when you live here, you don't really go there because it's only full of tourists.
Right.
Bruges is fantastic. It's beautiful, but it's a touristic place.
Right.
And Ghent is different. Ghent is it's small, but really dynamic because it's a student city.
Oh,
so there is always a lot of festival. There's a lot of bars, restaurants, and the city is fantastic and beautiful. But it's small. It's really small.
Okay.
So it depends on your lifestyle still. But I would more advise you to if you come, if you were coming from abroad and wanted to live in Belgium, I will tell you to get a penthouse in Brussels and a second home in Knokke-le-Zout, next to the sea. Do
you guys have a lot of second home owners, like Belgium citizens who own second homes? Is that common there?
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of in Knokke-le-Zout and also south of Belgium. We have a part called les Ardennes. So it's in Wallonia. It's full of forest and it's quite nice to go there on a weekend. But Belgian people owns most of the time a second home in south of France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and also in the French mountain. Interesting. So most of the time they are going there on their vacation.
Okay. So I know you don't have a crystal ball, but with the market shut down now, and if it does reopen in 15 days, would that be the best time to buy as a foreigner? Should we be looking in June or July, or should we wait until later? What are your thoughts?
Is it a good time to buy or to sell? I don't know. I thought I knew that before, but not anymore. I think when you want to buy something, you have to buy it. Right. You never know. and we have a lot of demands. I think the crisis made realize a lot of people the importance of the main residence. I think it's been more important than before, because a lot of people before, a lot of clients used to say, well, I want to spend that, but I don't want to spend that. I want to spend this kind of money. But now I think they're going to look for a property with a higher budget.
Well, and that's great, because what we're seeing here in Austin has very low inventory. So we usually have a lot of people wanting the same homes. There are a lot of people out right now who think that they can get deals. So the people who are buying don't seem to be as serious right now. But I feel the same as you. I feel that when the markets open back up completely, we'll get more serious buyers. It's been a struggle.
It's what I heard, but we don't here, because you cannot speculate here.
Yeah.
You cannot speculate with 15% of taxes. Speculation, it's tough.
You don't have a
it's what I heard for Paris. No, nobody.
If only you did, right? So
we all hope the same. That the next, when we will start again, it will be a little bit different, and people will feel different about their approach of life. I think it was a good moment to think differently and to think what differently we can do in the future.
Absolutely. I see the immersion of virtual tours, 3D tours. I think that'll be widespread across the world, not just in the US or Europe. All right. So business aside, talk to me about your Belgium. Tell me what you like about Belgium, where your favorite place to go is.
I think I really love to go in the forest next to Brussels during my Belgium life. Otherwise, I own a property in France, so I go in France. But in Brussels, it's I think it's really fantastic that you have a huge forest next to the city. So after our call, I will go there with my dog, and I think I will walk for 2 hours. And I think it's great. I think it's great to have this, to be so lucky to have this type of forest next to a city.
I agree.
But
so, if I were to come to Brussels, where would you send me for an amazing dinner?
There is two places comes up. I think it's Villa in the Sky. It's if you see, there is a tower behind me.
I do.
A high tower, and on top of it there is a restaurant made of glasses. So you have the 360 degrees of view on Brussels, which is fantastic. Amazing. And it is owned by a really nice chef, and then there you can really enjoy the view and the dinner. And in Antwerp, you have the Jane. Jane is a few stars as a Michelin guide.
Yes.
But the Jane is fantastic. You have to check that out. It's one of the best restaurants in Belgium, and it's I think it's made in an old church. But this is one of these two addresses are great.
Awesome. And so I'm assuming if I come to Belgium, I have to set the wine aside and pick up a beer, right?
That would be better. But we have one of the highest number of importation in Europe of wine. So if you're not happy with the beers, then you can still have wine.
That's awesome. So is there a local brand of beer? Like when I went to Germany, we went to Cologne and they had the Cone beer, which was phenomenal. Is there something like that in Brussels?
In Antwerp, there is La Brasserie de la Seine, which is next in the center. And but I think we have so many beers, local beers. I couldn't tell you, but it's everywhere.
There's too many to just try.
In Belgium, there is always a brewery.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, last food question. I love chocolate. Is there a
So you have to go to Marcolini then?
Where
You
is
have to
that?
go to Marcolini in Sablon, and Marcolini is one of the finest shop in Brussels. I think Marcolini have opened a few shops in the US now,
Oh, really?
and you go there, and then you you let his people, because it's Pierre Marcolini. You
Mhm.
can let his people guide you through the chocolate.
Well, that's enough reason to go. I love chocolate.
We are
It's my
waiting for
favorite.
you.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Well, I guess that will be it for today. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
No, thank you to you, Jean.
You gave up yoga, right? Do you do the yoga too, or
No,
do you
I
just
don't. I
watch?
don't. I don't watch. I walk in the forest during the yoga lessons.
Yeah, you're like, no, none for me. Well, I hope to see you soon. Thank you for your time. I'm
With
sure we'll
pleasure.
have questions coming to you that I didn't think about, but we'll be in touch. All right. Take care, my friend.
But please let me know. Let me know how it goes, and take care. Thank you.
All right.